A drug dealer kidnapped the biker's 8-year-old daughter, but he didn't know her father was the president of the Steel Demons Motorcycle Club. David Reaper Stone got the call at 3:47 p.m. His ex-wife Rachel screaming that Lily never came home from school. The bus driver said she got off at our stop. Rachel sobbed, but she never made it to the house. David's blood turned to ice. Within minutes, 40 Steel Demons roared toward Rachel's house. That's when they found Lily's backpack in the bushes. Her teddy bear, Mr. Buttons, was missing. The bear David had given her with a tracker sewn inside just in case. "She's moving," Snake announced, watching his phone. "North on Highway 9, about 40 miles out." David knew that area. It was Carlos El Lobo Mendez's territory, the cartel lieutenant who'd been pushing drugs through their county. The same man David had refused to let use his bike shop for drug smuggling last month. "This is a message," Tank growled. "Carlos took her because you said no to his business." David called Carlos directly. The dealer answered laughing. "Missing something, Reaper? If you hurt her, I'll burn your entire world down." "You threaten my business," Carlos said. "Now I threaten your family. Bring me $100,000 and sign your shop over to me or little Lily disappears forever." "I'll bring your money." David lied. "Where?" "The old warehouse on Miller Road. Come alone or she dies." David hung up and looked at his brothers. "Nobody hurts my little girl." They tracked the teddy bear to an abandoned building 20 m from the warehouse. Carlos was keeping Lily somewhere else, planning an ambush. "He's got at least 15 guys," Diesel reported. "Armed heavy." "I don't care if he has 50, David said. "We're getting Lily back." That's when unexpected help arrived. Detective Tom Miller pulled up to the clubhouse. Every gun pointed at him instantly. "Wait," he said quickly. "Carlos killed my partner last year and made it look like suicide." Miller threw his badge on the ground. "I'm not here as a cop. I'm here as a father who knows what it's like to lose everything to that monster." "Why should we trust you?" Tank demanded. Miller pulled out photos. "Because Carlos is holding 14 other kids in that building. He's starting a trafficking ring." The room exploded in rage. "This wasn't just about Lily anymore. I've been building a case for 2 years, Miller continued. "But his lawyers always win. The system won't stop him." David looked at the detective. "Then we stop him our way." The plan was beautiful and brutal. David rode to the warehouse alone while his brothers took different routes to the real location. Carlos was waiting with 20 men. "Where's my money?" Carlos demanded. "Where's my daughter?" David countered. "Safe for now." Carlos smirked. "But you came alone like a fool." That's when David smiled. "Did I?" The sound of motorcycles filled the air. Not just 40 Steel Demons but 200 bikers from every club in 3 states. They'd all answered the call to save children. Carlos went pale. "You brought an army to a business negotiation." "This isn't business anymore," David said. "You took my daughter. You took other people's daughters." Meanwhile, the rest of the Steel Demons had reached the building where Lily was held. They found 14 kids tied in the room, ages 6 to 12. Some had been missing for weeks. Lily was in the corner holding Mr. Buttons tight, trying to be brave. "Daddy's friends are here," Tank told her gently. "You're safe now." But Carlos had backup coming. 30 more cartel soldiers racing toward both locations. The battle was brutal but quick. 200 bikers versus 50 cartel members. The cartel never stood a chance. Carlos tried to run. David caught him in the parking lot. "Please," Carlos begged. "I have money. Millions. It's yours." David dragged Carlos into an empty warehouse. Just the two of them. "You took my daughter," David said quietly. "You put her in a cage." "She's alive," Carlos cried. "I didn't hurt her." "You were going to sell her," David stated. Carlos's silence was admission. What happened next? David never told anyone, but Carlos's screams echoed for an hour. When David emerged, Carlos was still alive, barely broken in ways that would never fully heal. "Call 911. David told Tank. "Tell them we found the kidnapper." The police arrived to find 15 children safe, 30 cartel members tied up, and Carlos confessing to everything. Murders, trafficking, bribes. He begged to be arrested, to be put in protective custody. "What did you do to him?" Miller asked David quietly. "I showed him what fathers do to men who hurt children," David replied. The evidence was overwhelming. Drugs, weapons, and paperwork showing the entire trafficking network. Carlos got life without parole. His cartel abandoned him immediately. In prison, word spread about what he'd been doing to children. He lasted 2 weeks before another inmate, a father of 3, found him alone in the showers. Carlos survived but wished he hadn't. Lily was physically unharmed, but had nightmares for months. The Steel Demons took turns standing guard outside Rachel's house every night until the dreams stopped. The other 14 children were reunited with their families. Each family was adopted by different motorcycle clubs, protected and supported. One boy's parents had been killed by Carlos. The Steel Demons took him in, raised him as their own. Detective Miller quit the force after seeing how the system had failed those kids. He became a private investigator, helping families find missing children. 3 months later, another dealer tried to move into Carlos's former territory. He found his drugs burned, his money gone, and a message painted on his wall. "We're watching. Touch a child and die." He left town that night. The warehouse where Carlos had kept the children was demolished. The bikers built a playground there instead. A place where kids could be safe and happy. Lily still carries Mr. Buttons everywhere. The tracking device is still inside along with a panic button, David added. Just in case, Rachel asked when he told her. Never again, David corrected. The Steel Demons changed after that day. They went from just a motorcycle club to guardians of their community. Any missing child, any suspected abuse, any dealer targeting kids, they handled. Sometimes legally, sometimes not. Always effectively. Carlos still lives, if you can call it living. Paralyzed from the waist down from his prison attack, fed through a tube because other inmates keep poisoning his food. Every year on the anniversary of the kidnapping, he gets a photo in the mail. Lily growing up happy and safe, surrounded by 200 leather-clad protectors. The message is always the same. She survived. You won't. Prison guards find him crying after those letters, begging for death that won't come. He's on permanent suicide watch, forced to live with what he did and what was done to him. David never told anyone exactly what he did in that warehouse. But sometimes late at night, other fathers who've lost children to predators will ask him quietly. He only says one thing. I made sure he could never hurt another child and that every day of his life would remind him why. The FBI investigated the mass assault on the cartel. Officially, it was ruled self-defense. Unofficially, agents shook the bikers' hands. You saved 14 kids, one agent said. That's all that matters. Lily is 13 now. She doesn't remember much about that day, which is a blessing, but she knows she's protected. They've saved 87 kids in 5 years. Not all stories end happy, but they all end with justice one way or another. Carlos had an empire worth millions. He had soldiers, weapons, connections. He thought that made him untouchable. He learned that nothing makes you untouchable when you take a biker's daughter. Nothing.